Hey everybody, Jeff Gibby here. I hope you're having a good Wednesday. It's good to have you. As I said before, I'm Jeff Gibby. Worked here for just a short 23 years or so. Today we're going to be doing a demonstration on one of my favorite topics, the MetaStock XENITH program. And as I've started, I remembered that I don't have a copy of our legal disclaimer on here. So let's go ahead and do this. Today's demonstration is designed to instruct you on using MetaStock and the accompanying software products. It's not a recommendation to buy or sell exchange-traded instruments, but rather guidelines to interpreting and using specific indicators and features within the software. I'm trying to remember the other half of this thing. The information presented today should only be used by investors who are aware of the risk inherent in trading. MetaStock shall have no liability based on the information provided in connection with the webinar. So there you go. There you go.
Just so you know that, or viewers know, it was broadcast right before you came on. It showed that, so if they want to go back and read it for their own
enjoyment
and pleasure.
Feel free to back it up just a little bit if you want to read it. I got pretty close. I've only read it like 3,000, 4,000 times. I have it committed almost to memory. So in any case, we did allude to earlier today that I'm going to be talking about XENITH. XENITH's a very, very incredible product. In fact, one of the challenges that I have while I'm putting together the demo is to actually, what am I going to talk about? There's so much in there. I mean, literally, and I've got some of the numbers here, but literally it was put together, at the time it was put together, the name of the company was called Thomson Reuters. They've rebranded, it's now called Refinative, but they spent over $1 billion just getting it ready for launch. They've probably put another billion or so into it at this point. But it is a true source of where you can get the Refinitive news and information. And I could show you just about anything I want to. I could go in and show you how you can actually track in real time how many tweets are being tweeted about a specific company and things like that. And so generally what I've done is to get ready for today, I actually put together a little bit of a list of the things that I use in XENITH on a daily basis. What I want to kind of just talk a little bit about is today's demo is not going to be we're not going to cover everything. There's just not enough time. In fact, one of the first international trips that I did was training a bunch of people in Saudi Arabia on how to use the software, and I spent about a week, and I think we got a very, very good demo on 8-hour training days over the course of a week. But in any case, I'm just going to show you some of my favorite features is really what it comes down to. As I talked about before, it's powered by Refinitive. It does have full information on like 70,000 globally listed companies. There's 40 million items of research available. There's 2,600 full-time journalists across 200 different news bureaus. This isn't like a package that you just get just because you have a brokerage account. This is a package that they put together to literally compete with Bloomberg. And it's a really, really good package. So let's go ahead and get into it. If you have watched any of my presentations before, I don't like to spend a lot of time in PowerPoint. I've got 2 more slides that I'm going to show you, but that's really it. I like to get kind of hands into the software and kind of talk to you a little bit about what everything is. Now, this is just basically a home page for XENITH. There's a few things that I want to kind of talk a little bit about. And one of the things that I find quite good about Reuters, particularly in the XENITH, the Refinitive platform, is how easy it is to find information. They spend a lot of time, energy, and detail in what they call search and nav. And so anytime you're looking for something specific that you want to see, whether that's like the economic monitor, maybe the newsletters, et cetera, you can search for it. If you want to find more specific information about any given company, you can just search for it. And so the way that works is anytime you have Icon running, or XENITH running, what you're going to see on the top page is this toolbar. Okay, and we're going to kind of talk a little bit about how this tab interface works in just a second. But right up here in the corner, there's always a bit of a search button. So let's see, there's a thing right here about Apple. Let's just say that we wanted to get a little bit more information about what was happening with Apple. I'm just going to type in Apple up here. And you'll notice I can go straight to the business information. I can go to the overview page. I can go to the quote. I can just pull up a chart. I'm just going to go into the overview page and kind of give you an idea of how easy it is to kind of find information on any specific company or currency that you're interested in. So right here we've got the overview page. You've got a summary of the business. You have any important news that comes up. You've got a little bit of a chart. As we scroll down, you'll be able to see any important releases. They have a Q4 2019 Apple Q4 release for earnings on October 30th, so we can see that's coming up. You can see what their fundamentals look like. You can see recent developments in the business. You can see what the fundamentals look like, and you can just keep scrolling down. There's really literally anything that you're looking at, you can find. They do have the StarMine models. The StarMine models are really, really cool valuation models that Refinitive owns, and you can see how well it's faring against its peers. And that's just the front page. If we click up here, if we wanted to see more news, we could go in here and look at news. Right here's a social media monitor where you could see how it's trending on Facebook and Twitter. You could look at sector news. You could look at any investors briefs that are available. There's a whole section on price and charts where you can look at time and sells, quote history. You can go in and look for estimates or fundamentals. And you just see there's just all kinds of information right here at my fingertips about Apple. So much so that I kind of got bored with reading them off. Gonna kind of move on. But anytime that you're looking for something specific, even if it's like, I'm going to show you the economic monitor in just a minute, you can just search for it in that search and nav. And if it is economic monitor, it's just going to come to the top of the list. You're going to be able to find it really easily. So I'm going to go ahead and close this down. While we're talking just specifically about the toolbar, the other thing that I really, really like is as you get more comfortable with XENITH, there's going to be things that you like to look at. And right now you'll see I just have one tab open as we get a little bit further into the demo, and it's the home page. This is the page everybody starts on, with a little bit of an exception I'll talk about in a minute. But as you get more and more apps that you're looking at, maybe you want to look at real-time quotes and news, you can literally have as many of these tabs open that you want. Like I could go ahead and create a new workspace here. It'll open up a new tab. And these tabs literally spawn your whole desktop. So I can have the tab have stuff over here on this monitor. I could have it have stuff that's over here on this monitor. And if I had a stock page that I wanted to look at all my stock tickers, I could have that in the workspace. I could have a currency page or an industry group page on a different page. And very, very easily, just by clicking on the tab, I can go to a completely different view that literally spans all the monitors you have. I really like the way they put that together. The other thing that I like is, with Refinitive, it's such a global company. They cover over 200 exchanges. They cover futures, they cover Forex, they cover stocks, they cover US, they cover just about anything that you could ever want, and a whole bunch of stuff that you're never going to care about. And one of the things that you'll find when you go through the installation process is it's going to kind of customize the view that you get on this homepage, and when you're searching for news, for the stuff that you're interested in. So for example, when I installed my XENITH a number of years ago, I don't even know, they basically asked, okay, what are you interested? I said, well, North America. I said equities, and I said options. So this page that I'm looking at, and any of the news that I search is going to go with that type of a focus. If you happen to be somewhere else in the world and you do a search, your homepage will look a little bit different. But when you do search, and let's say you're in Europe, it's going to actually kind of prioritize that European news when you're searching for it above the other regions. So, and I think that's pretty cool as well. So, since I did say I was an equities trader, you're going to notice that right here we've got our equities page. Over here we've got different places I can very quickly switch into. If I wanted to go see indices or foreign exchange or money markets, I can just click. It'll go to a page that's all about foreign exchange or money markets. And since I am an equities and equities options trader, it's going to list all of the important equity news of the day. And one of the things that you'll notice as I'm kind of mousing around and moving around is everything is very, very hyperlinked. So even this equities, if I just wanted to see all the news for equities for the day, if I just click on equities, it's going to take me to a page that's just filled with equity news that's important for the day. And I'm going to go ahead and back out of that because I'm not actually going to get that far into it. Any of the news stories, if we wanted to see how Apple data shows a deepening dependency on China as tariffs loom, if I wanted to read that story or any of the other stories that are on this page, I can actually just click on it. It'll open up the full news story. Once I'm done kind of reading through that story, it's going to show me related quotes. It'll show me related stories. It's going to give me a lot of information on it. Once I'm done with it, I can go back and I'll be back to that homepage view. Okay. Over here, we're going to spend a little bit of time on these equity quick links. Not really going to talk too much about them now, but we'll move back to them in a minute. Okay, because some of the things that I want to show you today are actually right here in these equity quick links. Over here, you're going to have a summary of how the market's doing. Again, the Dow Industrial is going to be on the top for me, S&P 500, NASDAQ. And again, every time I hover over just about anything in XENITH, I'm going to get more information. So, for example, I can see that we had the Dow is up about 1% today. If I wanted to click in and see really kind of what was leading that, I can click into the Dow Jones. It's going to take me to the Dow Jones overview page. And we'll just give it a second to load. It's actually loading pretty quick today, considering the fact that I'm broadcasting and also broadcasting video and audio and all that kind of stuff. But now we can see kind of how the overview is. Basic materials really were the clear winner today. They're up 3%. Consumer cyclicals, industrials, telecom, financial, healthcare. So we can see really kind of what sectors are driving the Dow Industrial to go up today. Under that, you can see a list of top movers. You can see a list of bottom movers and any news that's related to this as well. Again, there's just so much information that's available, and it's so easy to find. I'm going to go back just to back to the homepage though, and we won't get too lost in XENITH, although it is easy to do. Down here, I'm going to have some other quick links, and again, these will just sum up the more important things that are happening in the markets that I'm interested in. You'll notice this one's set to financial services. This one's set to the front page. This one's also set to the front page, and this one's set to Asian companies. And as you might imagine, I can actually control what news I'm interested in. So if I wanted to, I don't need two front pages right here. If I click on this little gear icon that's in the corner, what I can do is I can come down here to set it to whatever I want. So let's go ahead and I'm going to do it under company news. I'm going to set it to U.S. companies. I'll go ahead and save that. And now I have all the important U.S. company news. Okay. Let's go ahead and let me review my notes for a second to kind of make sure that what I wanted to talk about next. Okay. So we did talk about the panels, talked about clickability. Well, let me show you some of the tools that I like to use on a daily basis. And to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to come back under this equity quick links right here. Okay, what I'm going to do, and I'm just going to show you again the ones that I use on a very regular basis. The first one I'm going to show you is this economic monitor. So I'm going to go ahead and click into that. Again, if this is something that you want to run every day, you can open this up in its own tab. You can look at it when you're ready. It's going to go ahead and get that all set for you. Okay, what I've got here is economic events. I can also look at central bank and political events. I can look for holidays, government debt auctions, and central bank open market operations. Okay, you'll notice that I've got this set to the default, and what I'm seeing is a lot of information based on the flags. Here's a bunch of stuff in the U.S. Here's something for Angola. You've got something for India. The first thing that I want to do is be able to filter it down to the stuff that's important to the markets that I'm interested in. So I'm going to go ahead and what I'm going to do is I'm going to just filter out all of the countries except for the United States. So I'm going to go ahead and click into what I clicked on is right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to erase all of those countries. And I'm just going to type in United States. And you'll see it right here. I'll add that as what I'm actually interested in looking at. And if I update my view, then I should only see the little American flags. Of course, you can add more countries than that. If you're interested in like European, if you're doing Forex, I know a lot of people that answered the poll are looking at Forex. Maybe you want to keep track of the G7 countries. You can actually add all the G8 countries at the same time. It's been a long day. I'm going to give a little bit of a disclaimer. I've been here for a while, so bear with me. The other thing that I like to do right here, you can set your time. Yesterday to the next 7 days is great for me. That's what I'm going to leave it at. You can go in, and if you're looking for a specific event type, you can filter out the ones that you're not interested in. Typically, I don't do that. You can also search for very, very specific releases and just see when those are coming up. Typically, I don't do that. What I do quite a bit is I want to see the stuff that's actually going to be important, what's going to have an impact on the market. And so one of the things that they added early on in the economic monitor was to be able to sort things and rank things based on their market relevance. So right here you see like these 3 bars that kind of look like a bit of a phone tower. And if I hover over it, it's going to tell you this one, the 3 bars full is a high market impact. I'm going to go ahead and leave that one selected, but I'm going to take out the not rated ones, the ones that are medium impact and that are low impact. So I'm going to go ahead and update that view again, and now what I should see is just the most important events that are going to be coming up. Okay, so I do have it still set to yesterday and then the next 7 days. So right here we've got the 27th of August. Consumer confidence came up yesterday. They were polling it at 1295. It came in at 135, which is actually a surprise of 5 points. The prior was 135.7, and then they revised that later to 135.8. The smart estimate actually had that lower, 128.96. So consumers are confident. They're more confident than was actually expected, and just as confident, just a little bit more confident than they were last time it released at 135.8 or 0.7. Okay, right here you've got the GDP estimate. That's going to come out 6:30 local time tomorrow. Okay, and as you get a little bit closer, it'll have a little bit of a countdown timer. You're going to have jobless claims come out tomorrow. You're going to have consumption adjusted. You're going to have sentiment come out from U Michigan. And so you can see kind of what's just the important stuff that's coming out. As with everything else I've shown you in Icon, everything is totally clickable. So if I wanted to see a poll, let's say we wanted to see, we know the consumer confidence came in strong, right? If I wanted to see what that looked like on a chart, I can just click on it. It's going to open up that consumer confidence on a screen for me. And we'll just go ahead and let that load. I'm going to, while it loads in, it's actually going really, really quick today. I'm going to just check for questions. I don't see any. So if you do have any, feel free to ask. I'll try and keep an eye on the chat. So here we've got our consumer confidence actual. It's shown up on the chart. You'll notice over here, it's adjusted seasonally. Over here, I can actually say I want to see what the estimates look like and what the polling looks like. So with the Reuters poll, basically what they do is they poll their contributors for what they expect consumer confidence to be. Okay, and so if you see what the polling was coming in, everybody was expecting about a 129. The smart estimate is also something Reuters puts together based on kind of the polling they've done on the past and how accurate their pollsters are. And that came in a little bit low as well. Overall, consumer confidence is looking very, very bullish right now. I would have actually expected it to be a little bit lower this time around as well. If we scroll down a little bit, there's more information on the consumer confidence, that kind of stuff. But you always can have a little bit of a click into that. I'll go ahead and close out of this. In a nutshell, that's the economic monitor. That's what it's going to allow you to do. What's the important news? I don't want them to do Fed rate announcement while I'm in a huge trade. Just keeps you apprised of what's coming up in the market. Okay. Vincenzo says, I'd say the development budget is impressive. Yeah, they really, really put a lot of time and energy and heart into it. They certainly did. The other thing I kind of like to look at, and this might be of interest to you if you like to look at cross-country relationships. Let's say that you're trying to build a consensus about how things are trading in the U.S. versus maybe the Europe or the UK. And there's a lot of different ways to look at that. Obviously, there's a ton of different economic indicators that are available. And I'm just going to go ahead and open up what we call our economic indicator chart. Okay, and again, it's going very fast today. let me go ahead and right here just give you an idea of what we're going to look at. So again, here with the countries, if I click on this big drop-down box, you can look at the United States, you can look at UK, you can look at Germany, pretty much any country on Earth you can kind of look for numbers on. You can go ahead and do the US. And I just want to give you an idea of the breadth of information that's available with Refinitive. So we'll just show you the indicators you can look at, and then we'll look for one in particular. So here we've got non-revolving consumer credit. We've got 1-year inflation expectations. You've got 10-year government bond yield. You've got 1 to 4 family mortgage originations. You've got the AAII sentiment survey. And I'm going to start scrolling. You've got air cargo traffic. You've got air passenger traffic. You've got loans and foreclosure. That's actually interesting. I've never looked at that one. You can look at all loans that are past due, either 30 or 69 days. You can see where foreclosures have started. You can see anti-corruption risk. And we're still in the A's. So there's all kinds of stuff that you can actually look at. A lot of people like to look at unemployment. So one of the things that's really helpful, again, what they tried to do is make it really easy to find what you're looking for. So if we wanted to find unemployment, I could just start typing unemployment, and that's going to narrow my list down to just the stuff that actually includes the word unemployment in it. So we can look at forecasts for unemployment. We can look at ratio projections. We can look at what the Fed is saying unemployment is going to look like. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to look at the unemployment level percent month on month standardized. So I'm going to go ahead and add that to the chart here as indicator 1. I just find the level that I want. I go ahead and add it to the chart, and I can kind of see what unemployment looks like. Now that actually isn't the number I was looking for. That's just the net change from month to month. I was actually looking more for a number, the volume. So that was my fault. I'm going to go ahead and choose the standardized volume monthly. I'm going to go ahead and replace that indicator. I don't want to see just the month change. I want to see what the trend in overall unemployment looks like. And you can see the trend is pretty good here in the U.S. It's been on a pretty steady decline from 2010 to 2019. Now, one of the things I might want to be able to do, particularly like in currencies, that kind of tells me that the economic prospects are looking pretty good. We did have a tick up in unemployment right here. But if I wanted to compare that to another economic indicator, maybe a different country, I can easily do that as well. So I'm just going to add UK here. I'm just going to find an unemployment number. So let's go ahead and do a search for that. And what I'm going to do is volume again. And I'm going to overlay that as indicator number 2 right here. So I'll add that. And now it's going to go ahead and load. And you can see that as a comparison, UK is not doing as well. They also had a huge decline but lately their unemployment's ticking up a little bit. So that might tell me that the US is going to get a little bit stronger against the British pound. It's all how you interpret the data, right? But the data and the information, there's just a wealth of stuff that's available is pretty cool. So those are kind of a couple of the tools. Again, there's tons and tons of different ways to look at things in here. I'm just showing you the ones I like to use on a regular basis. There are a few things I want to show you in relationship to some of the videos and the newsletters and the stuff that's available. So to get to that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and click on this front page. And you can think of front pages like the front page on a newspaper. Basically, it's Refinitive's decision in terms of what is the most important news that's happening in the market today. Okay, so right here, this British Prime Minister suspension of Parliament before Brexit. That's very, very interesting. Of course, you can click in and read on it. Retailers are complaining about the trade tariffs of 15%, all kinds of information. Over here, you're going to have Insider. Insider is actually pretty good. I'll go ahead and load into this. We won't I'm not actually going to play any of the videos for you, but you have a lot of really good analysis and insight that Refinitive puts together in a video type of a format. In fact, they have a daily briefing they do every morning that you can go in and watch, where they talk about all of the important news and
designed by Apple in California,
let me go ahead
assembled
and
in
pause
China.
this video real quick. There's just a lot of good video content. In fact, in my computer that I use XENITH with, I actually have Insider as its own page. I look at it all the time. I can go ahead and close this down, though. I just wanted you to see it. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to, all of this is going to be news over here. These will be some of the latest news as well as the most read news in the last 24 hours. But over here, you're going to have a lot of different analysis and insight. And sometimes these are very interesting. Sometimes I'll see just something over here and I'll just want to read it. So I'll click into it and read it. As we scroll down here, though, we're going to get to the Reuters newsletter sections, particularly the day ahead, the morning news call, and the European news call, Inside Debt and Inside Commodities. Now, those are only 5 of the newsletters that are available inside of Reuters. Actually, they're pretty good. They're really good. I'm going to show you the day ahead. The day ahead, they probably have a new day ahead now. I think they do at about 6:30 Eastern time, so it might be yesterday's day ahead. But I'm just going to kind of give you an idea of what it's looking at. This is actually for tomorrow, so they've updated already for today. And it gives you a bit of a market recap, how things worked, what we're expecting coming up tomorrow. The Commerce Department in its second estimate is likely to show GDP increase 2% the second quarter. You'll see key economic events. Best Buy company is doing something. Marvell Technology Group Limited is expected to report a fall in second quarter revenue. You'll see key results and estimates that are coming up. You'll see in Market Monitor. Generally, the day ahead, it tends to be this one's about 9 pages long. That's usually about how long it is. But the idea is it's after the market closes, so you have some time to actually go through and kind of take a look at what happened and what people are expecting for the market tomorrow and that kind of stuff. This is something you can get to in the application. You can also subscribe to it. So they'll just email it to you on a daily basis every day. They'll send you it straight to your email box, so you don't have to go in and find it. In addition to that, they have the morning news call. That's also really cool. It's a lot shorter. It's 2 or 3 pages. It comes out in the morning, covers everything, the most important things that are happening that day, any companies that are announcing, as well as like anything that's surprising that happened overnight. These is a small fraction of the newsletters that are available in Reuters. And if you're a subscriber to XENITH, I'd recommend you take a look at the newsletters that are available. And to do that, I'm going to go up to the search box that I was talking about at the very start of this. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do newsletter up here. And you'll see right here, it's the very top application. If I load this in, it's going to show me a list of all of the newsletters that are available. Did it go on a different screen? Okay, maybe I just clicked off of it. So if we come in here, you can see that there's a Reuters breaking views, top views. You can basically subscribe to that. Basically, it doesn't cost you anything to subscribe, but they just send it to you by email. It comes out every day. Every daily. This one comes out weekly, daily. Again, if it says subscribe, it's available. It's no additional cost. You basically just tell them you want it, and they send it to you. They do have a lot of different regions. So if you're over in Europe and you want a European, you can get the EMEA morning news call. There's an Islamic one. There's stuff on fixed income, commodities. If you're interested in agriculture or dry freight or metals, you can subscribe to those. You can even get newsletters in other languages, and they have 1 or 2. Wow, the automotive ones are new. They have 1 or 2 that are built around Forex as well. I know a few of you said you're interested in Forex, so subscribe to them. They're part of your subscription, and the ones that you have an interest in, they're full of good information that you're going to be interested. Well, at least I find them interesting anyway. So that kind of covers. Like we spent 30 minutes now talking about kind of what's covered just in the front page and kind of the stuff that you can get to that's kind of cool. And one of the questions you're probably asking is, okay, well, can I track real-time markets in this? Is there a way for me to see real-time news information? How do I kind of keep abreast and see a chart of just what's happening? And certainly you can do that. This is really kind of the news and the research side of things. Again, you're going to want to be able, it's a real-time service. You're going to be able to want to see real-time information and real-time news and real-time data. And so I'm going to go ahead and set up a new workspace. And I'm going to basically show you some of the built-in workspaces you can use. And if we have time, I'll show you how you can kind of create your own as well. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and click on New Workspace. Okay. And then you can name this whatever you want. You'll see my PowerPoint's in the background. I'm going to call this Stocks. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I want to actually look at some of the templated ones that are available. So if I click down here and I go to Templates, what you're going to see is there's templates that are built around commodities, foreign exchange, fixed income, equities, cross-asset, asset management. Let's go ahead and we'll look at one of the ones that I want to show you that's built around the American equity markets. So I'm going to go ahead and find this one that says Equities Ameris, which is Reuters Refinitive shorthand. I'm getting used to saying Refinitive instead of Reuters. I go ahead and click on this. It's going to open up a page that's already put together for me that has the real-time markets. It's going to have kind of quite a few different tools. You'll notice that there's a chart loading right here. Right here we've got US SPX, so that's the S&P 500. You've got the Dow Jones Industrial Averages. You've got Canada. You've got Mexico. And I'm just going to go ahead and click on the S&P 500 right here and load that in. Okay. What you're also going to notice, because I'm going to point it out right now, is that there's a little bit of a blue paperclip right here. Okay, I'm actually going to change this to be a blue paperclip as well. And what that means is it's a link. This is the shape of a chain link. And that means if I click on anything in here, it's going to kind of update all of the news, the chart, this time and sales window, to show just the information that's available for that specific market. So let's go ahead and do that. Right now it's showing all of the information or all the news stories for Dow Industrial. If I want to take a look, see what happened with, let's say, Agilent, I can just click on that. Volume weighted average prices are going to come in here. Your time and sales is going to update. We're going to get a bit of a chart right here. This is on a tick basis. And I'm going to change that to daily. I don't necessarily like tick. I'm going to go ahead and click on daily. I just like dailies a little bit more. But also any of the alerts or news that have actually been reported about Agilent Technologies are going to be reported there as well. Looking at this real quick, there's an imbalance on the sell side. It's telling us an alert that there's an extra 54,139 shares on the sell side of this. So there's an imbalance. Might be some bearish pressure right there. Agilent Technologies releases 2018 Corporate Social Responsibilities Report. Ooh, not interested. But if I am interested about anything in here, again, I just click on it. It's going to go to the full news story. I can read that full news story, and then when I'm done with it, I just close it out, and I can kind of get on with what I'm looking at. Okay. I'm going to kind of just spend a little bit of time on these applications and kind of what they do. No new questions. Checking for that real quick. This is obviously a what they call it a monitor. It's just a quote list. You're going to have kind of everything in here that you're kind of interested in. One of the things I like about the Refinitive platform particularly is all of the data that's actually available in here. So right here we've got last price, we've got net price, we've got percent change, bid, ask. If I wanted to add a column, I can go ahead and click on add. I'm going to go ahead and close this thing that says, do you want to save it? But I can actually go in here and I can actually make any changes to make any types of additions to this that I'm looking for. So for example, if I click into this column header and maybe I wanted to look at earnings on this, I can go ahead and click on earnings. It's going to give me a list of, well, do I want price earnings? Do I want earnings per share? Do I want normalized EPS? All kinds of different stuff. In here, on these real-time screens, there's actually 800 different fields of information that's available that I can have on this screen that updates every time that it actually updates. And to kind of give you a list of what that encompasses, I'm just going to click on here, and you'll notice that everything is kind of put into like a category. I'm going to make this full screen for a second, but I can go in and I can look at corporate actions or economic indicators or equity index information, offense. I can look at what the Lipper funds are. I can look at kind of what their star-mine ratios are. I can look at technical indicators. Just the depth of things and the customizability in this thing. I'll just say it this way: you're not going to grow out of XENITH. The more you kind of spend, kind of playing around in the software, it's a fun software to play in. But the more you kind of tinker around with it, the more you're going to just realize that there's just stuff in here. From a quote monitor list, you can go in here and set alerts. It's going to tell you if there's news. You see the little news things. Almost all of them have news that I haven't read. You can also set alerts. So if I wanted to be alerted if Agilent pops up above 70, I can click right here. I can set an alert. I can say, alert me if it goes above $70. And it's not, you don't have to. It's not a complicated programming language to that. I said I want an alert on the last price. If it goes greater than 70, give me an alert. Greater than 70, give me alert. I can have it do a pop-up. I can have it play a sound. I don't have it set up on our demo computer, but I can even have it send me an email. You can also do alerts based on any of the other criteria. So anything that you've got loaded into there, you can set up an alert. And those alerts will actually trigger and send you an email from the server. So down here you do have a bit of a charting instrument as well. I think that's about, I think I'm getting pretty into the woods there. So I'm going to kind of step back a little bit. Over here we do have the time and sales app and what they call the blended order book app. Over here we did select Agilent, so it's showing you the time and sales for Agilent. But you can also look at the volume at price in a grid format. You can look at the calculated volume weighted average price right here. You can also see what type of volumes are coming in at what time during the day. So you can see when Agilent is most active. Today it was most active right before the close. You can see what price volumes are coming in. So right here you've got the price levels, and depending on on where these are how much volume came in at those different price levels. And you can also see what the money flow looks like as well. Okay, there are all kinds of different stuff that you can kind of look at in there. This is just a news app. It's going to be right now focused on just the news for Agilent. So if something new comes in on Agilent, it's going to pop in there. And then here you have a bit of a basic charting application. You can, of course, look at bar charts and candle charts. There's indicators you can add. I think it's a little bit beyond the point of the scope of the demo for me to go too deep into the woods for the charting, but it's a good charting app. It's not a replacement for MetaStock, which is does a lot of other things, also beyond the scope of what we're talking about today, but it'll do a lot of things for you. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and show you another couple of templates that are built in here for you. If you want to come in here and do foreign exchange, for example, I'm going to go ahead and open up this FX Spots monitoring page. So I'll just click on that. Again, these are pre-built or pre-loaded, but as you get comfortable with XENITH and you want to put together your own pages to have exactly the information you're interested in, you absolutely can do that. So right here we got a list of the majors. You've got Euro, British Pound. You've got exactly what price they're trading at, whether it's up or down, where it is for that range during the day, which I kind of like this view quite a bit. I'm going to start using it in more of the screens that I use on other things. Okay, you've got your Euro news. Right here you've got your market snapshot, so you can see exactly what the markets are looking like around the world, and you've got your world interest rates. So you can actually, on this page, go in and see exactly what the interest rates are, if they've been corrected, how much they've changed, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's just a fantastic platform. Of course, you can come in here. We did create this stocks page a little bit earlier, and we could add different applications to it. We could set up exactly the views that we wanted. We could have it span multiple monitors if we want. And to do that, you just come in here and you click on here. This is a list of the apps that are available. So you've got the monitor, which is the quote window. You've got charts. You've got index movers, and there's different charting apps. There's company information apps. You can get it set up exactly the way you want to look at it. And for the purpose of what I wanted to show you today, hopefully I'll learn alliteration. I'll take a class on it. But for what I wanted to show you today, that's a pretty good coverage. We went a little bit faster than I expected, but that's really what I wanted to give you an idea of what was in there. What I really was hoping to do, my goal for today's class, was to give you an idea of what was included in there without overwhelming you too much. It's just a lot of really, really good details. Greg, is everything okay over there?
I'm not sure what you mean.
Oh well, I thought you might be saying that we have a question. I don't see any questions. So
No, I don't see any on this end either.
So let's talk a little bit about what the pricing looks like for XENITH. I might have scared you that this might be a really expensive product. It's not, even though they spent $1 billion, even though they license it to literally institutions and hedge funds and banks and mutual funds so that they can track the information. You're getting access to the same thing that's available in the same information that literally banks pay for. Again, there's over 200 markets that are available. I want to talk a little bit about the packages and how they work. So our lowest costing package is only $99 a month. Okay, it's called our FX only package. It's going to get you real-time FX data, but it'll also give you access to global delayed news, analysis, reports. Anything that I've shown you today, you'll basically have access. What you don't have is the ability to go real-time. Okay, in anything that's not an FX product. In addition to that, the real-time FX data is always real-time. It's not like other providers where they might charge you an access fee to get data from FX, like an FX exchange fee. FX isn't traded on exchanges. Refinitive doesn't charge us to get you real-time FX data, so you don't have to pay extra for that. They just get it from the hundreds and hundreds of global contributing banks that they have. It's also probably one of the best FX data feeds just because of the depth of coverage. You really get information that's available from just about any place. Okay, I didn't show this in the demo, but one of the things I like in the FX package, if you're trading FX, is the fact that you can go in there and you can look at what they call an FX forecast chart. And what it's going to show you is what the banks are anticipating the market rates are going to move to for the foreign exchange over 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, and I think 6 months. And that's just something that you can look at. The amount of information that you can have access to is just incredible. Okay. The next package that we have is what we call a regional data package. Okay. It of course is going to still include the real-time FX data. It's going to give you global access to the news, the analysis, and the reports. It says delayed news on there. I need to correct my PowerPoint. The news is always as a real time. It's not delayed at all. The analysis and the reports are actually always real time. That's true of both packages. So I just need to correct that. I was reading that and I'm like, why did I even write that? You'll get real-time news no matter what you go with. You'll also get regional access to real-time data and exchange fees apply. So let me kind of unpack that a little bit. Regional packages, for the way Refinitive defines them, is Americas. And that would include North America, it would include South America, Europe, which includes Europe, Middle East, and Africa, and Asia Pacific, which would include like Australia and Hong Kong and China, the Pacific Island countries. 150 basically gets you the ability to go real-time in any of those regions. But if you do want real-time data, there are exchange fees. So what's an exchange fee? I'm glad you asked. An exchange fee is just basically like, so for example, if you want real-time information from New York Stock Exchange, New York Stock Exchange wants you to pay for that exchange fee. And usually that for New York Stock Exchange is not very much. It's like, I believe it's $3.50 if I'm current on my exchange fee pricing. Amex or the NYSE, the exchange that I can't ever remember the new name of it. But the exchange that used to be called Amex, but is now New York Stock Exchange Global Markets. It's also $3.50, and then. The bottom line is you can get all the U.S. stock markets in real time. It's about $12 a month. It's not expensive. So it'd be $150 plus whatever the exchange is. So the futures markets, some of the futures markets, the exchange fees can get a little bit pricey. What I'd recommend to kind of figure out exactly what your costs are going to be is to give us a call, because they can say, well, okay, what exchanges do you need? Oh, you don't know what markets, what instruments are you trading, and they can kind of help you figure out exactly what those exchange fees will run. So aside from that, anything that you have paid the exchange fees for will be real time. FX will be real time. In addition to that, you'll have global delayed access to anything else. So even if you want to go see what Asia did overnight, you'll be able to see what their markets did. You'll be able to drill into stocks. But more importantly, you'll just be able to see what the index looks like, because unless you're actually trading the Asian markets, you just want to see what the sentiment was overnight, and you'll have access to that. So what we're doing as an offer today is very simple. If you pay for a month, we're going to give you 3 months. So if you pay $150 and you get the real-time markets, you'll get 3 months for that cost. You will still pay that exchange fee every month. If you do the FX package, you'll pay $99 and you'll get access to that for 3 months. So to sign up for that, you can go online to metastock.com/elite legacy, EK3 for 1. If you have specific questions or you want to talk about exactly what those exchange fees look like for you, give us a call. We have a great group of sales guys. They do a really good job, and they're very, very friendly. So 800-882-3040. You can also chat online with them at metastock.com/sales chat. So just taking a look for any other questions. I don't see a lot that came in. I do want to say thank you for coming in. I hope it was enjoyable for you. I know about half of the people that were here today actually have XENITH. I want to say thank you for using XENITH. I appreciate it. I hope you learned something maybe that you'll start using that you didn't know about today. And for the rest of you, I'd encourage you to go ahead and sign up for XENITH. Give it a try. You can do it on the extended trial for $33 a month. You can be playing with the same tools that literally the banks, institutions, and brokerages are paying for. They built this as a competitor to Bloomberg. If you know anything about the pricing for Bloomberg, $33 a month is pennies compared to what they charge for it. So give it a try. If you don't like it, if it's not helpful for you, you can always cancel. There's no minimum subscriptions with our monthly subscriptions. You can just cancel at any time. And that's all I've got to say about that. I want to say thank you for coming in. Desi says thank you a million. Desi, thanks for being here. Appreciate it. And for everybody else that didn't say thanks, thank you for coming. I appreciate your being here. Again, I do hope you took away something, especially for those of you that are using XENITH already. I hope you've found something that it's going to be useful for you that you weren't using before. If there's anything I can do to help you in the future, let me know. Give it a try. The phone number again is 800-882-3040, and I will see you at the next one.